B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh v'Nasliach. Welcome everyone to our weekly shiur on the Parasha with the Perush of the Zera Shimshon. Today's Parasha is Parashat Devarim, Sefer Devarim. We're starting Sefer Devarim this week, Be'ezrat Hashem, in the span of the 3 weeks. Now we're in the 3 weeks. This week we're going to have Rosh Chodesh Av, Be'ezrat Hashem. That's going to be Letova. Be'ezrat Hashem is going to be turned into Besorot Tovot for Kol Am Yisrael. This shiur is dedicated Le'ilui Nishmat, my grandfather Alav Shalom, Zechariah ben Nisan, and Afarin bat Mohtalat, and John ben Ashraf.
Sorry, today's my great-grandmother's yard site. Can we also dedicate it to her?
Her name?
Keshvar bat Sarah.
And Keshvar bat Sarah.
May
their nishamot have an aliyah through the Torah that we are learning, Be'ezrat Hashem, and for the refuah shelema of kol chole am Yisrael, and for Be'ezrat Hashem all the singles to find their zivugim, Be'ezrat Hashem bekarab v'izmano, and all those that are married should have wonderful children. Amen keni ratzon. Okay, so because we're starting the 3 weeks, these meaning the 3 weeks, which we call in Hebrew, Ben HaMetzarim, the 3 weeks are the 3 weeks between 17th of Tammuz, which was the last fast day that we had, Shiv Asar B'Tammuz, all the way to the 9th of Av, or Noi as Persians call it, the 9th of Av, Tish'a B'Av, is a span of 3 weeks. In these 3 weeks, a lot of tragedies befell the Jewish nation. The first temple was destroyed, the second temple was destroyed, there was sieges, there was a lot of things that happened in these 3 weeks. And there was prophecies that were given to the Jewish people by the prophets 2,000 years ago about the loss that the Jewish people will have or might have, and so on. So Navi Yeshaya, that's why Navi Yeshaya is going to be talking to the Jews, and we're going to be delving in one of the prophecies of Yeshaya, but not the prophecy itself, but the terminology that he used in this prophecy. It says like this. The Navi says, Shim'u shamayim v'ha'azini eretz, Ki Hashem diber banim gidalti veromamti. Yeshaya says, hear, O heavens, Shimu Shamayim, hear, O heavens, v'ha'azini eretz, and O earth, listen, or give ear. Ki Hashem diber, because Hashem has spoken. Banim gidalti veromamti, I exalted children and I brought them up. And then the rest of the Nevu'ah says, but they stood against me, they went against me. I brought these children up and they went against me, they revolted. So he says, Tzarich biur, we need to understand this. How is the beginning of this passage and the end of the passage match? Why? Because it says, hear, O heavens, and listen, earth. It says, because Hashem spoke. What does that mean? How does that even matter? Where does that even come in? Hear, O heavens, listen, earth, because Hashem spoke. It's out of place. Because Hashem spoke what? He doesn't even say what Hashem said, right? It just says because Hashem spoke. So what does the second part have to do with the first part? The Mefarshim delve into this and ask another question. Lama shina mimma she'amar Moshe Rabbeinu. Why is it that Navi Yeshaya changed the terminology from what Moshe Rabbeinu used? Moshe Rabbeinu in Parashat Ha'azinu, one of the last parashiot of the Torah, Parashat Ha'azinu, Moshe says, Ha'azinu hashamayim va'adabera v'tishma ha'aretz imrefi. It says, Ha'azinu, listen, hashamayim, O heavens, and I will speak. Ha'azinu hashamayim v'adabera v'tishma ha'aretz imrefi. And hear, O earth. So Yeshaya says, Yeshaya says differently. Yeshaya says, hear me out, O heavens, listen, earth. So the listen goes on the earth, and hear goes on the heavens. But the opposite was true with Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu switched it. Moshe Rabbeinu said it differently. Moshe Rabbeinu said, hear earth, hear me earth, listen heavens. So the question is, why did Yeshaya Navi, many years later, switch the terminologies? Why didn't he just use how Moshe Rabbeinu had spoken in the Torah? That's number one. And they give an answer. So they answer, one of the answers that the rabbis give is, because to give ear, to listen, which is le'azen, ha'azinu, is from close by. When I want to tell you something close up, I go, hey, listen. Right? Hey, listen. That means I'm talking to you. Right? So ha'azinu means we're close. Velachen, therefore, because ha'azinu means we're close, Moshe shaya karov lashamayim. Moshe, if you were asked, where do you think in the realms Moshe Rabbeinu was closest to? The earth or the heavens? What would you say? Heaven. Right? So when Moshe Rabbeinu began to speak and basically bring the heaven and earth as witnesses because that's what Moshe Rabbeinu was doing. He was saying, oh, listen, heaven and earth, because I'm about to give my last will and testament to the Jewish people, and you're my witnesses. So when he spoke, he said, Ha'azinu hashamayim, listen to me, O heavens. Why? Because Moshe Rabbeinu was closer to heaven, especially on the last days of his life. Not only his entire life, he was more closer to the heavens because he was constantly speaking to Hashem. But on the last days of his life, he says, listen, O heavens. And then he says, oh, hear me, earth. Hear me is when you're far, right? Can you hear me? You don't. When you want to call out to someone that are far away, you don't go, can you listen to? No, can you hear me? So when you use the term hear, it means it connotes something is further away from you. It's farther away from you. So the rabbis answer, you know why Yeshaya switched it? Because Yeshaya Hanavi wasn't on the same level as Moshe Rabbeinu. He recognized that to me the earth is closer. I'm more earthly than Moses. Therefore, when I speak to the heavens and the earth, I have to say, hear me, O heavens, because I'm farther away from the heavens. And listen to me, O earth, because I'm closer to the earth. Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't. So he said it differently. That's what the rabbis answer as to why he switched it. So now, V'chen mashma b'divrei HaZohar. And this is what the Zohar says also. Resh Parasha Ha'azinu, the beginning of Parashat Ha'azinu, ele devat arhachi kamar hatam. But it adds, but then, ela, devat arhachi kamar hatam. Afterwards, the Zohar adds something else. Listen to what the Zohar adds. It says like this. Behahu zimna. Now, you listen, be ready to hear some of that Zohar stuff now. Okay? That's just going to be like what? Zohar says like this. Behahu zimna de amar Yeshayahu. At the moment that Yeshayahu Hanavi said, Shim'u shamayim ha'azini eretz, when he said those words, oh, listen, hear me heavens and listen to me earth, Kama gardine tehirin izdamanu, a number of pure executioners were called, letabara reshe, to basically cut off his head, to kill Yeshayahu. There were angels, executioning angels going to kill Yeshayahu for him talking like that. Nafka kala ve'amar, and a voice issued forth and spoke, Ma'hu den de bailar asha almin. Who is this person who has shaken the worlds? A voice came out from the heavens. This is the Zohar, Kabbalah. Don't ask me why, how. So the heavens sounded out, who is this person that has caused such commotion in the heavens? Meaning, how dare you, Yeshayahu, speak like this? You're mixing up the heavens, and now you have a bounty on your head, so to speak. Until Yeshayahu said the next part of the pasuk. At fatach ve'amar, until Yeshayahu said, Ki Hashem diber. What did Yeshayahu say? This is what Hashem has said. Meaning, remember we had the question as to, what does the first part of the pasuk have to do with the second part of the pasuk? He said, oh, listen to me, earth. Hear me, O heavens. Because Hashem has spoken. What do you mean, what Hashem has spoken? Right? So here the Zohar is kind of answering that. Saying what? The moment Yeshayahu heard and realized that he has a bounty on his head from the heavens, because of the way he spoke, and we're going to get into what that means, all of a sudden he says, whoa, wait a second. These are not my words. I'm using Hashem's words himself. These are the words that Hashem put in my mouth to say. I'm not speaking on my own. Take the bounty off my head. Until he spoke and he said, this is what Hashem has said. Lav ana, it wasn't me. Velav min didi, and I didn't speak on my own command. It was Hashem's command. Ad kal neshano. Until here is the quote of the Zohar. It's a very scary Zohar, right? That the prophet spoke and somehow he spoke, quote unquote, wrongfully. Now we'll see what that is. And because of that, the heavens were angered and angels went out to execute him until he said, listen, it wasn't my own words, I was using God's words. What does all of this mean? So the Zera Shimshon says this really needs some explanation. What does all of this mean? What sin did Yeshayahu have? What did he do wrong over here? If we say it was because he changed the terminologies from what Moshe Rabbeinu had used before him. But the Zohar itself is attesting to the fact that Moshe Rabbeinu was closer to the heavens. So when Moshe Rabbeinu spoke, he said, Ha'azinu Hashamayim. Listen to me, Shamayim, because he was closer to the heavens. The Zohar itself is attesting to it. So that can't be the mistake. Because Yeshayahu was farther away from the king, meaning from the heavens. And you can't suggest and say, you can't say because he was calling out the heavens and the earth, he was being punished. You can't say that either. You can't say, you know why Yeshayahu was about to get punished? Because he brought the heavens and the earth as witnesses to what he was about to say. Why? Why was that wrong all of a sudden? Why? Because it's simple. You can answer that simply. It says, because Yeshayahu was not the person to make the heavens and the earth witnesses for the Jews. It had already become that from before. Meaning someone else had already assigned the heavens and the earth as witnesses to the testimony of HaKadosh Baruch Hu towards the Jews. Who was that? It was Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu was the head of all Nevi'im, head of all prophets, and he was the first one and said, I am making the heavens and the earth witnesses today that this is the Torah that Hashem gave us from Shamayim, from the heavens, and the Jews must listen to the Torah if they want to have prosperity. Moshe Rabbeinu made the heavens and the earth witnesses. So you can't say that Yeshayahu is being punished for doing that because he wasn't the one to do it. He was just recalling, so to speak, an older testimony. And if not, v'yesh koach b'yad navi likro ha'edim, and the Navi has the power to call upon witnesses that were already made witnesses by someone else. Shegevar hukhu le'edim, who were already chosen to be witnesses by Moshe Rabbeinu. Vaf Eliyahu. And we see also with Eliyahu HaNavi. What did Eliyahu HaNavi do? Eliyahu HaNavi in his time, Jews were worshipping idols left and right. So what did Eliyahu HaNavi do? What did Eliyahu HaNavi do? Anyone remember? I love how you just said boycotted. Welcome to our new day and age where we're using common terminologies used by second graders today. Boycott. That's a new term used by kindergartners today. You know? Seriously. It's like, can I go to the bathroom, Mora? No, you may not. I'm boycotting you. It's like second grade kids. So what did Eliyahu Hanavi do? Because the Jews were worshiping idols and they were not coming on the right path, he basically made the heavens not rain. He brought a drought on Israel, a major drought that went on for 2 years. I mean, it was bad. It was very, very bad. People didn't have food, didn't have water. It was really because Israel is very much dependent on rain. It doesn't have any source of water from the outside. It is very dependent on rain. So he says Eliyahu Hanavi did that. How did he do that? How could he do such a thing? How could he take control of God's world? Who are you to stop rain from coming? And you should, by the way, if you study the works of the prophets, God was asking Eliyahu Hanavi to stop. Imagine. God would tell Eliyahu Hanavi, take this oath off. I need to make it rain. People are praying for rain. And Eliyahu Hanavi would turn to Hashem and say, I'm doing this for your honor. Would no. And Hashem would say, but they're my children. They're starving. No. Right? And it says, in the mystical words, it says that Eliyahu Hanavi took the keys, so to speak, metaphorically. Right? Took the keys to rain from Hashem. Until Hashem had to what's the word? What's the English word for it though? He had to swindle? Yeah, kind of. Until God had to swindle Eliyahu Hanavi to give up that key by there's a story of a child that dies and Hashem wants to bring the child back and Hashem says, no can do. That's the second key, life. You already took the rain key. Give back the rain key and we'll have a deal, right? And then that's when it starts to rain. But imagine, can a person really do that? How could a Navi, however powerful you are, what is this? Like it's a game? No, God, you can't, what does that mean? So how did he do that? Mipnei she'hakatuv omer. Why? How did Eliyahu Hanavi have that power to do it? Because the pasuk in the Torah says, ve'atzaret hashamayim. We say it every day in Shema. What do we say every day in Shema? We say in Shema that when you don't go according to the laws of the Torah, and you have other gods in front of me, ve'atzaret hashamayim ve'lo yihyeh matar, ve'adama lo titenet yevulah. Hashem will close up the heavens and there shall not be any more rain. And the earth will not give forth its fruit. So Eliyahu Hanavi didn't create anything new. He was using God's own words. Eliyahu Hanavi was saying, you said it in Shema. You said that if they do wrong, you will stop giving rain. So I'm using your own testimony, so to speak, to actually do it. I'm doing your work. So he didn't really create a new curse, so to speak. He was just going upon something that was already pre-created, pre-stated by Hashem. So he doesn't have the power to do it himself. Because this is Hashem's world, not ours. Ela, vadai shem rotzim le'onshom mipnei sheshina halashon. So he says, therefore, you cannot tell me that Yeshayahu Hanavi was about to be punished because he brought the heaven and the earth as witnesses. Can't be. Because he didn't bring them as witnesses. They were already made into witnesses by Hashem. And Moshe Rabbeinu before. Just like we see Eliyahu Hanavi did not close up the heavens on his own. He used Hashem's words. So here too, Yeshayahu was using Hashem's words from the Torah. So you can't tell me he's getting punished for making the heaven and earth witnesses. So it must be, we're going back to square one. Yeshayahu Hanavi is about to get punished. Why? Because he changed the wording of the pasuk. He changed the wording of the pasuk. However, on the account of that as well, the angels still have no reason to want to punish him. Because he changed the wording of the pasuk. Instead of saying, listen, heaven, he said, listen, earth. And instead of saying, hear, O earth, he said, hear, O heavens. Because of that, you can't say that he's being punished for that either. Why? Why does the Shamayim, why do the heavens and the earth care what Yeshaya Navi says? Why do they care how he's saying it? Why do they care if Yeshaya said the heaven first or the earth first? Or he called up the heavens with the word ha'azinu or shama, which both kind of mean the same thing, but not. Why? Why do they care? Are you guys following so far? This is what it means when we say mystics of the Parsha. It's supposed to be mystical and deep. I'm enjoying it. And I'm also following. Anyone need a recap? Were you following, John? Thank God. All right. So now we're going to go start explaining what's going on. Veyuvan, in order to understand this, in order to understand why the heavens and the earth were angered by Yeshayahu enough to put a bounty on his head for the words that he used, that to us seem like not a big deal. What was it? B'ma shekatav ha-siftei kohen. The Siftei Kohen says, Sheleshon ha'azana shayach l'shamayim. The language ha'azinu, azana, ozen means ear. Right? So when we say ha'azinu is give ear, or as we say in plain English, listen. Right? So the word azana is basically only or more applicable to heavens. Why? Shehem neged haneshama. Because the word ha'azinu corresponds to the soul, corresponds to the neshama. How so? Dahashamayim gematria neshama. Because shamayim and the word neshama have the same numerical value, 395. Soul and heaven in Hebrew have the exact same numerical value, 395. And therefore, because the soul and the heavens have the same gematria, something has to connect the soul to the shamayim. V'haneshama v'hashamayim bekal hem shome'im. Now the other common denominator here is that the neshama and shamayim, our soul, and the heavens listen more readily. Allow me to explain what that means. One of my kids was in the car with me the other day, by the way, and you know how kids just like start talking to themselves or like that. And I caught him like repeating these words. Allow me to explain. Allow me to explain. It was very funny. Huh? I don't even remember which one it was, but it was so funny to me. I was like, So, what does it mean that the heavens and the person's soul listen more readily? I'll ask you this. Okay? Let's say you want to go get a cheeseburger. An actual cheeseburger, which is, we're not talking about parv cheese. We're talking about a non-kosher cheeseburger, like Carl's Jr. If it doesn't get in your face, I don't know. Something like that. No, that wasn't it. No, if it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face. Don't ask me how I know that. That just goes to prove that advertisement works. I was like 12 years old when that commercial was going on. And it's just, So you want to get a cheeseburger, right? Which part of you is the part that wants the cheeseburger? Now you're a Jew. You're a non-observant Jew. But which part of you is the one that wants to get that cheeseburger? Your body or your soul? Body. I don't think anybody disagrees that it's your body. Your soul absolutely does not want it whatsoever. It's disgusted by it. Can't stand it. It's your body. If I tell you Keep Shabbat 100%. Don't do anything to desecrate the Shabbat. Which part of you instantly clicks and goes, I want to do it so badly? Your soul or your body? Soul. Your body is saying, that means I got to put my phone away. I don't know. It's not that I'm addicted. It's just that. And it just ends there, pretty much. Right? It's not that I'm addicted to my phone. And then it just ends there, right? We all know we are all addicted to our phones. Raise your hand if you're addicted to your phone. There you go. My hand's up. We're all in the same boat. But if we keep Shabbat though, at least we could say once a week, we're able to put it away. And that's something unbelievable about itself. So when I say, I want some tea or water or something. So when I tell you, when someone comes and tells you, hey, listen, keep Shabbat. Hey, listen, it's Tisha B'Av. Today's a fast day. Hey, listen, put on tefillin. Hey, listen, don't eat that, it's kosher. And you've never done it before, or it's been difficult for you. Which part of you is readily listening? It's your neshama. Your body is the part that's actually kind of not hearing it, not having it, having a difficulty with it. So therefore, he says, the soul is connected to the heavens. The neshama is connected to the heavens. And the soul and the heavens have one common denominator. They listen very well. They hear more quickly when it comes to things that are correct. When it comes to things that are emet, when it comes to things that are the truth, the soul accepts it like that and it's more ready to take it. The body, on the other hand, that's the one that has a fight with it. So now, therefore, because the soul is so much more ready for spirituality, that connotes the terminology of, give ear or listen. Ha'azina, listen. Why? Because when you want to say something of spirituality, if something is closer to you, you don't say, can you hear me? No, you go what? Listen. Because you intrinsically, you recognize the closeness of that being to what you're about to say. When I want to tell someone to keep kashrut and I want to talk to their neshama, I don't have to shout. I don't have to force it. The neshama hears it. Why is it when you go to Yerushalayim, right? It's so much easier for you to do things that are on a spiritual realm. Have you thought of that? Why does it become so much easier?
The falafel, the shawarma.
Huh?
The falafel, the shawarma.
The falafel and the shawarma. I don't think it's the falafel or the shawarma. But it's simply put, especially when you're in Yerushalayim, the spirituality of the place just gets you. You're more readily capable of taking these things in. When you're in Yerushalayim, it's easier. You come to California, you come to Los Angeles, you are far away from the point of spirituality. So if anyone actually really wants to change their life around in a spiritual sense, starting in Yerushalayim is your best bet. That gives you strong foundations, and then you can come back and take anything. It's much easier. And I'm telling you, in every sense, it makes things easier. I always tell people that are getting married, my suggestion to all couples is, when you get married, go to Israel for a year, live with your wife or your husband, whichever you are. Go and live in Israel for a year. Spend the first year of your life together in Israel. It's incredible. The foundation that you built together in Israel is unlike any foundation you can build anywhere else. It's a different life. It's more simple. It's more spiritual. You learn to have patience. And some things are hard over there, and that teaches you life as well. It's just different. So here, when he says now, Aval keneged haaretz amar v'tishma. But when it comes to the earth, the pasuk says, hear. Tishma. Tishma connotes farness, distance. But tishma, oh here, can you hear me? Right? Shei keneged aguf. Now tishma corresponds to the body. Because the body is always the one that's farther away from spirituality. So the term tishma or shema has to be used with the body, which is more earthly. When you're talking to the earth, something earthly, you have to basically talk louder in spiritual terms. Right? It has to hit it much harder for the body to actually listen. The soul, no, because the soul is made in heaven. It's heavenly. It's already there. It's already mixed in with the spirituality. So when you tell it something that is truth, that is emet, takes it quickly. But the body, that's earthly. It's made out of earth. It's physical. It has all the lust of the world. It takes much longer. It needs much heavier speaking for it to actually listen and come close. Shekatuv bo, because it is written about it. Va'ani kecheresh velo ishma. It is written about the body. About the body, it says in Tehillim, David HaMelech says in the Tehillim about the body, Va'ani kecheresh lo ishma. I am like a deaf man and I cannot hear. Sheino shomea elo b'kole kolot. Because the body only hears in a metaphorical way when it's addressed very loudly. And this is the quote of the Siftei Kohen. So he says, now we understand. Moshe Amar ha'azina ha'shamayim. Moshe Rabbeinu said, oh, listen to the heavens. Be'yesh bazeh shetet ha'amim. And it has two reasons why Moshe Rabbeinu said, listen, heaven, and not hear me, heaven. Two reasons. Echad, lefi shaya Moshe karov l'shamayim, as we said. Because Moshe Rabbeinu was closer to the heavens. He was much, much closer to spirituality than anybody else. So therefore, being closer to the heavens, he used the term, oh listen, because he was right there. He was in heaven. He didn't need to shout, so to speak. Mishum shehu yoter kavod l'hasheni, sorry. That's the first reason. Second reason, v'hasheni, mishum shehu yoter kavod l'shamayim. It is more respectful to the heavens, to the spiritual realms, to speak with the term ha'azinu. Oh listen. Shehem neged haneshama. Why do they deserve more respect? Because the shamayim, the heavens, correspond to the person's soul, who are ready, more ready for spirituality. Therefore, they receive more respect. They don't need to be addressed by the word hear, to be spoken to loudly like the body needs. Yeshaya Hanavi only took the first reason, which was what? Hey, I'm closer to the earth. I'm farther away from the heavens. I'm not where Moshe Rabbeinu was standing. So I'm going to refer to the heavens by, oh, here. And I'm going to refer to the earth by listen, because I'm closer to the earthly world, the physical world. So he only took that first reason. He did not take into consideration the second reason of, I have to give more honor to the heavens because they're more spiritual. And they correspond to the soul, the neshama that comes from the spark of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Levishaya yoter rachok mehem. Umishum hachi, because of this, hayu rotzim la'anisho. Because of this, the angels wanted to punish him. Why? Mitam shezilzel bichvod hashamayim. Because they said, he is disrespecting the heavens' honor. And the heaven's honor is, kavyachol, so to speak, God's honor. And the angels were saying, the fact that he's speaking to us with that terminology, he's disrespecting HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who's up in the heavens. Maybe he should have thought more clearly to understand, hold on, the second reason might be the main reason, which is that the Shamayim deserves more respect because that's where Hashem is. You cannot say, oh, hear me, to the heavens, because this is disrespectful. So therefore, that's why Yeshaya Navi comes and says what? Ki Hashem diber. What did Yeshaya Navi answer the angels? He said, no, I didn't say these words on my own. These are the words of Hashem. He told me to say it this way. Why? Why did Hashem say it like this? So he says, V'teretz. So the rest of the pasuk answers that question. Why did Hashem tell Yeshaya Navi to use the terminology opposite of what Moshe Rabbeinu did? As if to say that he's closer to the earth and farther away from the heavens. As if to say, God forbid, he's disrespecting the heavens. And this is the point of the entire class that I want to bring out tonight. So the rest of the pasuk answers that question. Yeshaya says what? Banim gidalti veromamti. Children I have raised and I've exalted. What was this greatness that Hashem gave the Jewish people? What did HaKadosh Baruch Hu do to give greatness to his children? What he did was he brought his Shekhinah down to the earth. Hashem brought his presence on earth in the Beit HaMikdash. And he brought his presence into his children. And what did he? And he left the upper worlds. As it says in Parashat Terumah, Lecha Hashem hagedula v'hagevura v'ativirat v'hanasa v'kol b'shamayim v'aretz. Hashem basically yours, Hashem, yours, to you belongs greatness, strength and splendor for everything in heaven and earth. So you find, Kol ma shebara HaKadosh Baruch Hu lema'ala, anything that Hashem has created in the heavens, listen to this, guys. Anything that Hashem has created in the heavens, bara lemata, He has also created here on earth. Any energy that there is in the heavens, Hashem has created here. The earth is a mirror image of the heavens. And not only this, not only this, listen to this part. It's really, really crazy what he's going to say. Not only that everything that Hashem has created in the heavens, He has created on earth, but more so. It says what Hashem has put on earth is much more dear to Him than anything that He has created in the heavens. Teda lecha, you should know, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Himself left the heavens and brought His presence here with us. Why? Because He wanted to let us know that you think the heavens are great. The potential that I've given you here on earth is thousands of times stronger. Someone asked me last week, said, if Hashem created everything in His image, especially human beings, it says Hashem created everyone in His image. B'tselem Elokim bara otam. And Hashem is perfect. He's perfection. How come we're so flawed? How come we have so many flaws? Why is there so much flaw in the world if everything God created is so perfect? So I told him, I think you have the wrong definition of perfection. Because the Gemara brings a story of a king that tells one of the rabbis, one of the Roman kings, I don't know if it was a Roman or one of the Greek, both are the same. They didn't deserve to exist till today. He says to him, tell me something. If you believe so much in your God, how perfect He was, and everything that He created is perfect, which is the Greek mentality, perfection, human bodies are perfect. He says, why is it that God commanded you guys, as you say, to do a Brit Milah? Why are you defaming something so perfect and godly? If God created it, why are you castrating yourself, so to speak? Why are you doing a Brit Milah? You're damaging this body that God has created, and it's perfect. That was your thing. Why mess with something that was created in God's image? So maybe you're wrong. Maybe your religion is all wrong. So the rabbi tells him, I'm making it short. He brings him some wheat kernels at some point as food to the ruler. And the ruler says, what am I, an animal? I don't eat this. He says, why? It's God's creation in its perfection. This is how it grew. You're saying God is not perfect? Eat it. He says, but you can't eat this. This is animal food. He says, so how would you eat it? He says, well, you have to grind it. You have to make it into flour. Then you have to sift it. You have to make it fine flour. Once it becomes fine flour, then you have to make it into dough. You have to beat it until it rises, and then you make bread. He says, but you just took something so perfect, created by a perfect being, and you made it into something else. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created this world with an energy of potential. See, nothing would be perfect if you don't work at it. If you just jumped into perfection, that's not perfection. You didn't do anything for it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, I'm going to give you potential to make everything great. B'Tselem Elokim means I created. I am also giving you the power to be a creator. I made things. I'm going to give you the power to make things. So the things that I'm putting before you, I'm not going to make them perfect. Because then you wouldn't be a creator. I want you to get creative. Take this wheat and make it perfect. Take your body and make it perfect. Make it better. Make it holier. That is our job. And that, the Zera Shimshon says, is 1,000 times holier than anything created in heaven. Who's holier? Us or angels? Us. Well, potentially. Why? Because angels are created in perfection. They do exactly as they're asked. They're heavenly angels. They're created by Hashem in heaven. They do exactly what their job is. They cannot falter. Angels do not make mistakes. They're pre-programmed to do everything that they need to do, that they're told to do. That's what angels are. Human beings, opposite. We're the exact opposite. We intrinsically do not want to do what we're told to do. But that's what makes us perfect. It's that war that we fight that makes us so strong and makes us so angelic, so to speak. The fact that I have the will to say no to something and to say yes to another makes me even greater than angels. Angels cannot say praise to HaKadosh Baruch Hu until we say praise to Hashem. Do you know what that means? Every day, Malachei Hasharet wait. Every morning they wait for Am Yisrael, the first minyan on earth, to say Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh Adonai Tzavaot Melech Kol Haaretz Kevodo, until the angels say the same exact thing. They don't say it until we say it. Why? Because we have the potential to be greater than angels. So Hashem was saying, Yeshayahu Navi was saying, no. This is what Hashem was telling me to say, which was what? You know why I spoke to the earth as if the earth is closer and more spiritual, and I kind of pushed away the heavens to say, oh, hear me, oh heavens, as if they're farther, even though they should be closer because they're more spiritual and I should have more respect to them? No, Hashem told me to say it this way. Why? Because Hashem wanted you to understand, oh mankind, Hashem's presence could be so much greater here on earth because everything here has so much more potential than anything in Shamayim. You have the potential to do so much more than all the greatest angels in heaven. That's why when Yeshayahu Hanavi was chastising the Jews, this was his rebuke. He was telling Am Yisrael, look at the potential HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given you, and you're throwing it away. You're going to throw it away if you just don't listen. And unfortunately, that's what happened. That's what did transpire. We lost 2 temples. We went into exile. People were asking me, why is it that Ashkenazic Jews have more stringencies in the 3 weeks? Like they had the custom not to take showers starting from Rosh Chodesh, which means Wednesday. That's what the custom they have. They wouldn't take showers from Rosh Chodesh all the way to 9th of Av. That's like 10 days. Imagine no showers for 10 days. No haircuts for these 3 weeks. They don't get haircuts. Sephardim do get haircuts until the week of Tisha B'Av. Right? Why? Why is it that Ashkenazic Jews had so much more stringencies than Sephardim? And the funny thing is, what people say, most of the time Sephardim are more like strict in certain things. But when it comes to these, the Ashkenazim are more strict. Why? Because unfortunately the exile that the Ashkenazic Jews had cannot be compared to the exile that the Sephardic Jews had. We went into exile. Where did we go? Like 3 feet away from Israel? We were literally in like Iraq, Iran, and like Morocco and Syria. We were like right there. Ashkenazic Jews went literally on the other side of the globe. And the atrocities that they went through, the pogroms, the Holocaust that the Ashkenazic Jews went through, they really felt the destruction. They really felt the loss of not having the Beit HaMikdash. Because they felt it so deeply. When it came to 17th of Tammuz, they said, how could we take showers? You know? How could we rejoice? Look at what's going on with us. Sephardic Jews, Baruch Hashem, they had it less. We had it bad, but it wasn't as bad. So our customs of Avalut when it comes to the 3 weeks are less severe. But we lost all of it. Why? Because of the prophecies of Yeshayahu Navi when he said, oh listen. And he was trying to tell Bnei Israel, listen, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is much closer than you think. He's here. You could do so much with the potential that you have, and you're just throwing it all away. And it says, Shlomo HaMelech says, Hashem amar lishkon ba'arafel. Hashem said that he would dwell in thick clouds, so to speak. When the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, it says, Elech eshuva el mekomi harishon. Hashem said, I'm going to go and return to my first place. Be'ezeu hagedula v'haromemut. And thus Hashem's dwelling in the Beit HaMikdash is the greatness and romemut, that awe that Yeshayahu was talking about. Shenatan HaKadosh Baruch Hu le'Yisrael. And that's something that he gave to the Jews. And that's why, and that's the pasuk. And now we understand that why when Yeshayahu HaNavi spoke that way about the heavens and the earth, the heavens got angry at him, but he explained himself right away. And he said, no, I didn't speak for myself. This is something that Hashem put in my mouth to send a message to Am Yisrael, to send a message to the Jews, to understand also that yes, the heavens are more holy. Yes, the heavens deserve more respect. But Hashem wanted them to know that when my Shekhinah is on earth, earth becomes even greater than all of the heavens. And we have the potential to do that. In about 10 days, 11 days, we have Tisha B'Av. And that same potential is in every date like that. Tisha B'Av is a date that was marked for, unfortunately, Lo Alenu Bar Minan, we should never know anymore, but it was marked for negativity, let's say. For generations, for Am Yisrael. That's what it was. However, something very strange is that any day of the week that Pesach falls on, the first day of Pesach, any day of the week it falls on, let's say this past year Pesach was on what? It was on a Thursday. First day of Pesach was on Thursday. Tisha B'Av falls on a Thursday also. That's how the calendar always works. Any day of the week Passover is whenever you have Passover. If it's on a Sunday, know that if Tisha B'Av comes, Tisha B'Av is going to be on a Sunday. If it's on a Monday, if Pesach was on a Monday, Tisha B'Av is going to be on a Monday also. You know why? Because this destructive power of the 9th of Av, Tisha B'Av, that power that you feel is destructive is the same power that's going to build the Beit HaMikdash. It's the power of freedom. Tisha B'Av, Chachamim tell us, when Moshiach comes, is going to become the greatest Yom Tov for Am Yisrael. That's the potential it has. It's like an atomic bomb. It's like the atom. It has the potential to build. It has the potential to help. and it also has the potential to blow everything up. It's the same exact thing. It's energy. It's all up to us. It's up to us if we have a Tisha B'Av on earth that is going to be crying and chas v'shalom sitting on the floor again and mourning the destruction of the temple, or we could have a Tisha B'Av that becomes a holiday with the coming of Moshiach. And guess what? The mystics say Moshiach is born on the 9th of B'Av, on Tisha B'Av. That means the end of the exile itself, the freedom of all of Am Yisrael from the exile, its leader is born on Tisha B'Av. How crazy is that? It means that no matter how much physicality you feel on earth, that same energy, that same negative energy that you feel is around us on earth, that's the same potential that could turn into heavenly energy. It's all up to us. It's all up to what we do. And I want to end with this. The first step to doing that is Ahavat Chinam. The first step into getting anything done, to get anywhere closer to redemption, is causing Ahavat Chinam. Baseless love. No more hatred, no more divide between Jew and Jew. Baseless love instead of baseless hatred. No more lashon hara about people. No more getting involved in machloket. No more talking about other people negatively. That's where it starts. And you can start by, sometimes it's not about fighting with people either. Sometimes I heard something very interesting today. Sometimes it's about not saying hello to somebody that you don't even know. Sometimes we see another Jew someplace, and because we don't know them, we don't even say hello. And say, hey, how we don't just pass by them. How about we start there? Next person we see, we don't even know them. Shalom. Have a wonderful day. You never know, you might make somebody's day. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen v'amen.